Donna Landers pushed open her apartment door, every muscle in her body screaming for rest. Another 16-hour shift at Chicago Memorial. Another night of being invisible. Her daughter Lily was staying at the neighbors for the night. The apartment should be silent, but it wasn't. She heard movement in the kitchen. The clink of dishes, water running, deliberate footsteps on her worn linoleum floor. Her pulse kicked up. She moved down the narrow hallway, her sneakers quiet against the floor. The kitchen light was on. A man stood at her sink, his back to her, washing her dishes. He turned and Donna froze completely. Masato Fujimura. The Dragon of Chicago. The man whose face she'd seen in hospital security briefings, whose name nurses whispered with fear. Standing in her kitchen wearing an immaculate three-piece suit, his sleeves rolled up, looking nothing like the untouchable crime lord she'd only heard about in terrified whispers. He looked directly at her, and the expression on his face made her stomach drop. Not surprise. Not menace. Calculation. "Miss Landers," he said quietly, setting down a plate. "I know you weren't expecting me." "What?" Donna's throat went dry. "What are you doing in my house?" Before we dive deeper into Donna's dangerous world, welcome to the channel. If you love dark romance stories where passion collides with danger, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what happens next. Your support means everything, and I can't wait to take you on this thrilling journey. Now let's see what fate has in store for Donna. Masato took a breath, drying his hands on her dish towel with methodical precision. "I came here to discuss a situation you created at your workplace. A police report you filed tonight." He paused, his dark eyes holding hers. "And Miss Landers, what I'm about to tell you will change everything." Donna stood there, her mind racing. This had to be some kind of nightmare. But the gun resting casually on her counter next to Lily's cereal bowl, that was real. The way he moved with absolute ownership of her space, that was real. "How did you even get in here?" Her voice came out weaker than she intended. "Your landlord was very cooperative." Masato gestured to a chair he'd pulled out from her small kitchen table. "Please. Sit down." "I'd rather stand." "Miss Landers." "Don't." The word burst out. "You don't get to stand in my home like you belong here. You don't get to act civilized while there's a gun on my counter." The silence stretched between them, thick and suffocating. Masato's expression didn't change. "You're right. There's nothing civilized about what happens next." He pulled out the chair and sat down himself, his posture relaxed but predatory. 3 hours ago you treated a gunshot victim at Chicago Memorial. You filed a police report. That patient was Kenji Tanaka, my second in command. Donna's legs buckled. She grabbed the counter for support. "Your report," Masato continued, his voice deadly calm, "triggered an investigation that could dismantle my entire operation. You've cost me $2 million to bury. You've become very, very expensive, Miss Landers." Her knees hit the floor. Hands clasped. Words tumbling out. "Please, I didn't know. I have a daughter, please." Masato stood, moving toward her with lethal grace. "I know about Lily. 8 years old. Franklin Elementary. Mrs. Chen's third-grade class." He showed her his phone. Photos of Lily sleeping, Lily at school, Lily laughing at the park. Donna's world shattered. "I'm not here to kill you," Masato said softly. "I'm here to collect you." But how did it all begin? The fluorescent lights of Chicago Memorials are buzzed overhead like angry wasps. Donna Landers pressed her fingers against her temples, willing away the headache that had been building for the past 12 hours. Her feet ached in her worn sneakers, her scrubs were stained with coffee and someone else's blood, and she had 4 more hours before her shift ended. 4 more hours before she could go home to Lily. The thought of her daughter, 8 years old, gap-toothed smile, obsessed with butterflies, was the only thing keeping Donna upright. Lily's private school tuition was due next week. The electricity bill was overdue. Her car was making a sound that promised expensive repairs. So Donna worked. Double shifts, triple shifts, every hour the hospital would give her. Incoming GSW. The shout from the ambulance bay yanked her back to reality. Donna snapped into motion, her exhaustion forgotten. Gunshot wounds were routine in this neighborhood, but something about this one felt different the moment the gurney rolled through the doors. The patient was Japanese, early 30s, his expensive suit soaked with blood. But it wasn't him that made Donna's instincts scream. It was the four men who followed him inside. Designer suits, cold eyes, moving with the coordinated precision of predators. They radiated danger so palpable the other nurses stepped back. "Everyone out except essential personnel," Donna ordered, her voice steady despite her racing heart. The men didn't leave. They positioned themselves around the room, watching. Donna focused on her patient. "Sir, I'm Donna. I'm going to take care of you. Can you tell me your name?" "Kenji." His voice was surprisingly calm for someone with a bullet in his shoulder. His eyes tracked her every movement with unsettling intensity. She worked quickly, assessed the wound, started in 4, prepped for extraction. The bullet had missed major arteries. Lucky. She injected local anesthetic, made the incision, removed the bullet with practiced efficiency. "You're good at this," Kenji said, watching her suture. "You should be more careful who you help." The words sent ice down her spine, but Donna kept her hands steady. "I help everyone who comes through those doors." "Noble." His smile didn't reach his eyes. "Dangerous but noble." After Kenji was moved to recovery, his silent guardians following, Donna returned to the nurse's station and pulled out the mandatory police report form. GSW meant documentation. Protocol. She filled it out methodically: patient description, injury details, estimated time of incident. Her supervisor glanced over her shoulder. "Thorough as always, Donna. Good work." Just another form. Another patient. Another shift ending. Donna drove home through empty streets at 3 a.m., her body running on fumes. The radio mentioned something about escalating gang violence, turf wars on the south side. She changed the station, too exhausted to care about the city's darkness. She had no idea she'd just signed her own death warrant. Donna's apartment door was unlocked. Her hand froze on the knob, exhaustion evaporating into pure adrenaline. She lived in a neighborhood where unlocked doors meant robbery, assault, worse. Her phone was already in her hand, 911 ready to dial as she pushed the door open. The apartment was silent. Too silent. She stepped inside and her breath caught. Everything was pristine. The dishes she'd left piled in the sink, washed and stacked. The floor she hadn't mopped in weeks, spotless. Her threadbare furniture arranged with precision. The chaos of her life had been transformed into something almost elegant. Then she saw him. A man stood in her kitchen, folding a dish towel with the same methodical care a surgeon might use closing an incision. He wore a 3-piece suit that probably cost more than her car, his dark hair perfectly styled, his presence filling her shabby apartment like a king surveying a peasant's hovel. A gun rested on her counter, next to Lily's cereal bowl. Recognition slammed into Donna like a physical blow. She'd seen his photograph in the hospital's security briefings, heard his name whispered in break rooms with the kind of fear usually reserved for terminal diagnoses. Masato Fujimura. The Dragon of Chicago. He turned and his eyes, dark, intelligent, absolutely merciless, assessed her with predatory calm. "Miss Landers." His voice was silk over steel, his accent precise. "I apologize for the intrusion." Donna's voice came out as a whisper. "How did you? Your landlord was very cooperative." He set down the towel with deliberate care. "We need to discuss a mistake you made tonight. The patient you treated, Kenji Tanaka. My second in command. My most trusted lieutenant." The room tilted. "Your police report," Masato continued, his tone conversational, "triggered an investigation into an arms shipment worth $30 million. I had to bury it. Bribes, eliminated evidence, relocated witnesses." He paused. "It cost me $2 million and 3 strategic partnerships." He took a step toward her. "You've become very expensive, Miss Landers." Donna's legs gave out. She hit the floor hard, hands clasped like prayer, words tumbling out in desperate, incoherent pleas. "I didn't know. I was following protocol. I have a daughter, please, she's only 8, please don't." Masato moved with fluid grace, kneeling to her level. This close she could see the scar along his jawline, smell his cologne, something expensive and dark. "I won't kill you," he said softly. "That would be wasteful." He produced his phone, showed her the screen. Surveillance photos. Lily sleeping at Mrs. Chen's apartment, Lily at school, Lily laughing at the park. "You have skills I need. Medical expertise. Hospital access. You work for me now. Until your debt is paid." Donna couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Masato stood, straightening his suit. He placed a business card on her counter next to the gun. You have 24 hours to call me with your answer. His eyes held hers. Choose wisely, Donna. Your daughter's future depends on it. He walked out as calmly as he'd entered, leaving Donna shaking on her kitchen floor, her entire world shattered into pieces she'd never be able to put back together. Donna called in sick to work for the first time in 3 years. She sat on her couch, Masato's card burning a hole in her palm, her mind racing through impossible options. Call the police. Everyone at the hospital knew the dragon owned half the Chicago PD run. He had photos of Lily at school, knew Mrs. Chen's address, her daughter's schedule down to the minute. She was trapped. Completely, utterly trapped. When she picked Lily up from school that afternoon, Donna held her daughter too tight, memorizing the warmth of her small body, the sound of her laugh as she chattered about a butterfly she'd seen at recess. Mom, you're squishing me, Lily giggled. Sorry, baby. Donna's voice cracked. I just love you so much. That evening, as she tucked Lily into bed, her phone rang. Unknown number. Her hands shook as she answered. Have you decided, Donna? Masato's voice was silk and steel, intimate in a way that made her skin prickle. She closed Lily's door, walked to the kitchen and surrendered. What do you want me to do? 2 hours later, Donna stood in the lobby of a luxury building overlooking Lake Michigan, her medical bag clutched in white-knuckled hands. The doorman had been expecting her, escorting her to the penthouse without question. Masato opened the door himself. He'd changed into dark slacks and a crisp white shirt, sleeves rolled to his elbows, looking impossibly elegant and dangerous. Thank you for coming. He gestured her inside. The penthouse was breathtaking, floor-to-ceiling windows, modern furniture, a world so removed from her shabby apartment it felt like another planet. A young man sat on the leather couch, pressing a blood-soaked towel to his side. He looked up at Donna with grateful eyes. This is Hero, Masato said. Knife wound. Nothing critical, but it needs attention. Donna worked in silence, her training overriding her fear. Clean the wound, assess the damage, suture carefully. The young man was respectful, thanking her softly in Japanese. Masato watched from across the room. He didn't threaten or hover. He simply existed, and that was enough to make Donna hyper-aware of every breath, every movement of her hands. When she finished, Masato appeared at her side, holding an envelope. Your daughter's tuition this semester, he said quietly. And next semester. Consider it a signing bonus. $10,000 in cash. More money than she'd held in her life. His fingers brushed hers as she took it, and electricity shot up her arm. Their eyes met, and something dark and magnetic passed between them. You're quite good at following orders, Donna, he said, his voice dropping lower. We'll get along well. The way he said her name, intimate, possessive, made her shiver. As she moved toward the door, he stopped her with a hand on her wrist. One more thing. You don't file reports anymore. About anything. Understood? Yes. Donna drove home, the cash burning in her purse, and realized with horrifying clarity. She'd crossed a line she could never uncross. He was a criminal now. And worse. Part of her had felt alive in that penthouse in a way she hadn't felt in years. 3 weeks passed in a blur of blood and secrets. Donna treated 5 more of Masato's men. A gunshot wound to the thigh, a stab wound that missed vital organs by millimeters, broken ribs from what was politely called a disagreement. Each call came at night, always to the penthouse, always with Masato watching. He never left during her treatments. He'd sit across the room, silent and still, his dark eyes tracking her every movement with an intensity that should have terrified her but instead made her pulse race in ways that had nothing to do with fear. She began noticing things that contradicted the monster she'd expected. His intelligence. The way he spoke 3 languages fluently, quoted philosophy, understood complex medical terminology when she explained procedures. The unexpected gentleness when he asked about Lily's school play, remembering details from previous conversations. His men didn't fear him. They respected him with a loyalty that couldn't be bought. Tonight, after she'd treated a serious knife wound, Masato appeared with 2 glasses of wine. Stay, he said. Not a command. An invitation. She should have refused. Should have fled back to her safe, suffocating life. Okay, she heard herself say. They sat on his leather couch with takeout sushi between them and somehow they talked like normal people. He asked about her dreams before Lily, and Donna found herself admitting things she'd buried for years. How she'd wanted to be a surgeon, how an unplanned pregnancy at 24 had derailed everything, how Derek had abandoned them before Lily was even born. You could still become a surgeon, Masato said quietly. Donna laughed bitterly. Single mothers working double shifts don't get second chances. They do if someone invests in them. The words hung between them, heavy with implication. What about you? She asked, desperate to shift focus. These scars, how did you get them? Masato's expression darkened. He rolled up his sleeve, revealing a wicked knife scar across his forearm. Osaka. I was 16. My family lost everything, bankruptcy, dishonor. The Yakuza came for what little we had left. He touched the bullet graze on his shoulder. Chicago. 3 years ago. Building an empire means making enemies. Why Chicago? Because here I could become something my father never was, powerful enough that no one could destroy me again. The vulnerability in his voice undid something in Donna. He moved closer and she didn't pull away. You're afraid of me, he observed, his hand resting inches from hers. But not as much as you were. Honesty spilled out. I don't know what I feel anymore. He touched her face, thumb tracing her cheekbone with devastating gentleness. You feel what I feel. This was inevitable the moment I walked into your kitchen. They kissed, fierce, consuming, wrong in every way that mattered. His hands tangled in her hair, her fingers clutched his shirt, and for one perfect moment she forgot everything except the heat between them, the way he made her feel seen, wanted, alive. Reality crashed back. She jerked away, horrified. I can't. I have Lily. Masato's eyes were dark with want, but he didn't pursue. You'll come back, he said with quiet certainty. Not because I'll force you. Because you want to. Donna fled to her car, but the taste of him lingered on her lips. A dangerous addiction she was terrified she'd never be able to quit. Are you hooked yet? If you're falling into this dark world with Donna and Masato, drop a comment below and let me know. Are you Team Masato or do you think Donna should run? Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the explosive chapters ahead. The text came at midnight. We need to talk. It's about Lily's safety. Derek. Donna stared at her phone, her heart hammering. Derek. Her ex-husband who'd drained their joint account and vanished 2 years ago, leaving her with a mountain of debt and a 6-year-old daughter to raise alone. He should delete it. Block the number. But the words Lily's safety made her hands shake. They met at a diner on the north side, far from her neighborhood. Donna almost didn't recognize him. The charming loser she'd married, perpetually unshaven, always in wrinkled shirts, was gone. This Derek was sharp, professional, his appearance military precise. He slid into the booth across from her. Thanks for coming. You have 5 minutes, Donna said coldly. Then I'm gone. I'm FBI. Derek's voice was flat, matter-of-fact. Deep undercover in organized crime for 3 years. And I know everything about your situation with Masato Fujimura. The world tilted. Derek produced a folder, slid it across the table. Surveillance photos. Donna entering Masato's building, leaving late at night, her face visible in each shot. You've been treating his men. Making house calls. Breaking about 15 federal laws. Derek leaned forward. I can protect you, Donna. You and Lily. Witness protection, new identities, a fresh start away from Chicago. In exchange for what? Her voice was barely a whisper. Information. Shipment dates, meeting locations, financial records. Help me build a case that brings him down. Donna's mind raced. Derek had abandoned them, let them starve while he played hero cop. And now he wanted her to betray. What? A mafia boss who'd threatened her daughter? Who owned her like property? I need time to think. You don't have time. Derek produced more photos and these made Donna's stomach clench. Masato at expensive restaurants with beautiful women. Masato at charity galas, a stunning brunette on his arm. Masato in what looked like intimate conversation with a blonde in a cocktail dress. He's a killer, Donna. Whatever you think you feel for him isn't real. He's manipulating you. That's what predators do. The jealousy that flared hot and vicious in her chest terrified her. She had no right to care who Masato spent time with. No right to feel betrayed by photos of him with other women. But she did. God help her, she did. Derek slid a burner phone across the table. 48 hours. After that, I move forward with or without you. And if you're still tied to him when we bring him down, I can't protect you. Donna sat in her car afterward, 2 phones in her lap. Her regular phone with Misato's number saved under a simple M. The burner with Derek's contact glowing on the screen. 2 men. 2 worlds. Both offering salvation wrapped in damnation. She had no idea which choice would destroy her. But she was beginning to suspect it didn't matter. She was already destroyed the moment Misato Fujimura walked into her kitchen. For 3 days, Donna avoided Misato's calls. Lily's sick, she texted. Can't come. The burner phone burned in her pocket like a live coal. Derek's offer echoed endlessly. Freedom, protection, escape. But every time she reached for it, she saw Misato's face. The way he'd looked at her before that kiss. The unexpected gentleness in his questions about Lily. On the 4th night, someone knocked on her door. Misato stood in her hallway, still in his suit from whatever dark business he'd been conducting. His eyes were hard. You're avoiding me. He stepped inside without invitation. Why? I'm not, Lily's been. Don't lie to me, Donna. His voice was quiet, deadly. Someone approached you. Terror shot through her. Did he know about Derek? I'm scared, she blurted, the truth spilling out. Scared of this, of you, of what I'm becoming. Misato closed the distance between them in 2 strides, backing her against the wall. His hand came up to cup her face, thumb tracing her jaw. You're scared because you feel something real for the first time in years, and it's not with someone safe. His dark eyes held hers. I terrify you because I see you, Donna. Not the exhausted nurse, not the struggling mother. The woman underneath who's been suffocating. He kissed her, slower this time, deeper, and Donna surrendered completely. Her hands fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer, all her resistance crumbling under the heat of his mouth on hers. They barely made it to her bedroom. The encounter was intense, consuming, Misato demanding but attentive, pushing her past boundaries she didn't know she had. He learned her body with the same methodical precision he applied to everything, making her feel powerful and desired and utterly undone. Afterward, in the darkness, their bodies still intertwined, Misato did something unexpected. He told her the truth. My family was destroyed by the Yamaguchi-gumi, he said quietly. The largest Yakuza organization in Japan. They killed my father over a debt. They assaulted my mother. They left my younger sister for dead. His voice was flat, emotionless, but Donna felt the rage beneath. I was 16. I came to America with nothing but anger and ambition. His fingers traced patterns on her bare shoulder. Everything I've built, every terrible thing I've done, has been to become powerful enough to exact revenge. To make sure no one can ever destroy what's mine again. He turned to face her in the dark. You make me feel something other than anger for the first time in 15 years, Donna. That's dangerous. For both of us. The vulnerability in his confession shattered something inside her. This wasn't manipulation. This was truth, raw and brutal and real. The most dangerous gift anyone in his world could give. Donna touched his face and realized with terrifying clarity. She was falling in love with a monster. And worse, the monster might be falling for her too. The burner phone sat silent on her kitchen counter, Derek's 48-hour deadline ticking down like a bomb. Donna made her choice at 2 a.m., her hand shaking as she dialed the burner phone. I'll do it, she whispered when Derek answered. I'll help you. She was protecting Lily. Doing the right thing. She repeated it like a mantra as Derek gave her instructions. Plant a tracking device in Misato's car, photograph documents, report his movements. The guilt ate at her like acid. She slept with Misato, let him hold her afterward, whispered reassurances while the tracking device she'd planted burned in her consciousness. She photographed financial records when he stepped away, her hands trembling. She reported every meeting, every location, every word. 2 weeks into her double life, everything exploded. She was at Misato's penthouse, photographing documents spread across his desk while he showered, when Kenji walked in. He saw everything. The guilty horror on her face. He trusted you, Kenji said, his voice filled with disgust. Before Donna could speak, Misato emerged from the bedroom, pulling on a shirt. He took one look at the scene, Kenji's rigid posture, the camera in her hands, her face drained of color, and his expression went cold. "Who are you working for?" His voice was deadly quiet. Donna couldn't lie anymore. The words tumbled out. "FBI. My ex-husband Derek." "I'm sorry, I thought." Misato's bitter laugh cut her off. "Your ex-husband. How convenient." He pulled out his phone, made a call in rapid Japanese. Then he turned back to her, his dark eyes blazing with betrayal and rage carefully controlled behind an iron mask. "Derek Landers isn't FBI, Donna. He's a CI, a confidential informant playing both sides." He pulled up files on his tablet, thrust them at her. Surveillance photos of Derek meeting with rival gang members. Bank transfers. Encrypted communications. "He's been selling information to my competitors while pretending to build a federal case." Donna's vision blurred. "No," he said. "He used you." Misato's voice was ice. "Turned you into an unwitting spy. The information you've been feeding him? He's been selling it to trigger a war between families. He profits from the chaos while everyone else bleeds." He showed her more tactical plans for an assault on his operations, using her intel. Derek's payment schedule. "He was going to let you die in the crossfire," Misato said quietly. "You and Lily both. Collateral damage." The room spun. Donna had been betrayed by both men. Misato, who'd enslaved her, Derek, who'd weaponized her love for their daughter. Before she could process, Misato's phone rang. He answered and his face went absolutely cold. "When?" "Pause. How many?" He looked at Donna, and the fury in his eyes was now mixed with something worse, urgency. "They have your daughter." The words didn't make sense. Couldn't make sense. "Derek took Lily from school an hour ago. He's using her as insurance, to force me into a trap." Misato was already moving, grabbing weapons, calling his men. "He's going to kill her once he gets what he wants." Donna's scream caught in her throat. Her baby. Her Lily. Misato grabbed her arm. "We're getting her back. But Donna, if we survive this, you and I are going to have a very different conversation about trust." They raced to his car, his men mobilizing in a coordinated assault. And Donna realized with horror that her betrayal hadn't just endangered herself. It had put her daughter directly in the hands of a monster. And this time she had no idea if even Misato could save them. The GPS tracker Donna had planted led them to an abandoned warehouse district on the south side. Misato's convoy moved through the darkness like predators. 4 black SUVs, 20 armed men, tactical gear, lethal efficiency. Misato pulled Donna aside before they moved in. "If I get you inside, can you protect your daughter until I handle this?" His eyes were hard, unforgiving. "I haven't forgiven you. But she's innocent." Donna nodded, numb with terror and guilt. They infiltrated through a side entrance, Misato's men moving in coordinated silence. The warehouse opened into a massive space. Concrete floors, rusted equipment, and in the center, illuminated by harsh floodlights, Lily tied to a chair. Derek stood behind her, gun in hand. Around him, hired mercenaries, not FBI, not law enforcement. Just criminals coordinating their ambush. "Donna." Lily's scream shattered the silence. Derek grabbed Lily, using her as a shield. "It didn't have to be this way," he shouted. "You were just supposed to feed me information. But you fell for him, didn't you? Stupid, predictable bitch." Misato's voice cut through the warehouse like a blade. "Let the child go. Your business is with me." Derek laughed, high and unhinged. "My business is getting rich. You die, your competitors pay me $5 million. The FBI closes their case. Everybody wins." He pressed the gun to Lily's temple. "Tell your men to stand down or I'll." Donna moved. Years of emergency training kicked in. Assess, act, don't think. She rushed Derek from an angle he didn't expect, slamming into him and knocking the gun away from Lily's head. Chaos erupted. Misato's men engaged the mercenaries, gunfire exploding through the warehouse. Donna threw herself over Lily, shielding her daughter's body as bullets shredded the air above them. She heard Misato's cold voice issuing commands in Japanese, heard Kenji's weapon discharge, heard screaming and the wet sounds of violence. Then Derek was on her, tackle her away from Lily. They crashed to the concrete, struggling. His hands wrapped around her throat. "You ruined everything." Spittle flew from his mouth. "Everything." Lily was screaming. Mommy! Mommy! Donna's vision blurred, her lungs burning. Then her hand touched cold metal, Derek's gun on the floor. She grabbed it, pressed it to his chest. You were never a father, she gasped. You were never anything. He pulled the trigger. Once, twice, 3 times. Derek's eyes went wide, shocked and then empty. He fell, his weight crushing her until someone pulled him off. The warehouse went silent except for Lily's sobbing. Donna dropped the gun, her hands slick with blood, Derek's blood, and crawled to her daughter. She cut the zip ties with shaking hands and pulled Lily into her arms, both of them shaking uncontrollably. She'd killed someone. Ended a life. Became a murderer. Masato appeared, blood spattered on his pristine suit, and knelt beside them. It's over, he said quietly. His men were already moving. Eliminating evidence, removing bodies, erasing the night from existence. They left the warehouse together, Donna and Lily in Masato's car, surrounded by his protection. As Chicago's lights blurred past the window, Donna held her daughter close and understood with absolute clarity. There was no going back now. She'd crossed every line, broken every rule, killed to protect what was hers. She'd become exactly what she'd feared, and discovered she'd do it all again to keep Lily safe. 2 months later, Donna stood on the balcony of Masato's penthouse, watching Chicago's lights glitter like scattered diamonds against the darkness. The police had ruled Derek's death justified. Self-defense in a hostage situation, ample evidence of his criminal enterprise. The FBI investigation collapsed when his corruption was exposed. Donna had quit the hospital without looking back. Now she ran a private medical operation for Masato's organization, treating his people, training others in emergency care. She was no longer the naive nurse who believed following rules kept you safe. She'd become something harder, sharper, more dangerous. And she didn't regret it. Lily had adjusted better than expected. Masato was gentle with her in ways that surprised everyone. Teaching her Japanese phrases, buying her endless books about butterflies, ensuring she had the best trauma therapist in Chicago. He'd never be a traditional father figure, but he protected what was his with absolute ferocity. And Donna and Lily were his. Regrets. Masato's voice came from behind her. Donna didn't turn. I should have them. But I don't. Is that wrong? He moved closer, arms wrapping around her waist, his chin resting on her shoulder. Wrong and right don't exist in our world. Only survival and loyalty. She leaned back into his warmth, feeling the steady beat of his heart against her spine. He turned her to face him and she saw something unfamiliar in his dark eyes. Vulnerability. I have something for you. He produced a small velvet box. Inside, a ring with a black diamond, beautiful and dark as midnight. This isn't a proposal, Masato said quietly. It's a claim. You belong to my world now. I belong to yours. No more betrayals. No more lies. Donna took the ring, feeling its weight. It fit perfectly on her finger, dark and beautiful like everything between them. No more lies, she agreed. They kissed as the sun set over Chicago, 2 damaged people who'd found each other in darkness and decided to rule it together. Later, Donna stood in Masato's office as he conducted business with his lieutenants. She wasn't hidden away or relegated to the shadows. She stood beside him, his queen in every way that mattered. The men who once would have dismissed her now bowed their heads in respect. She was no longer the woman who dropped to her knees begging for her life. She was standing at the top of the underworld, a single mother who'd become a mafia queen, who'd learned that survival sometimes meant embracing the darkness, and that love in the shadows could be more honest than anything in the light. Mom. Masato. Lily's voice rang through the penthouse. Both adults turned as she ran in, her arms full of origami cranes Masato had taught her to fold. Their faces transformed, his dangerous edges softening, Donna's smile genuine and warm. A family forged not in tradition but in blood, loyalty, and the fierce protection of those they loved. Masato caught Lily as she jumped, spinning her once before setting her down. His hand found Donna's, their fingers intertwining, the black diamond glinting. Donna had finally found her place in the world. And she would defend it with everything she'd become. A woman who'd killed to protect her daughter, who'd chosen love over law, who'd discovered that sometimes the monsters aren't the ones you should fear. Sometimes they're the ones who save you. And that's where Donna's journey takes her. From a nurse begging for her life to a queen ruling the shadows. What did you think? Drop a like if this story had you on the edge of your seat and comment below to let me know where in the world you're watching from. I love seeing how far these stories reach. But this is just the beginning. The darkness holds many more secrets, and I have another thrilling story waiting for you. Click on the next video to discover what happens when fate brings two dangerous souls together. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. See you in the shadows.